All right, we have here. What is your name, sir?
Run!
That's it.
Holiday.
Okay. All right. All right. Ron Holiday. So, Ron, I want to ask a couple of questions because you are very well known in the professional wrestling industry as far as independent. So, I wanted to ask some couple of questions.
Thank you for that compliment.
Yeah. So,
I'm more infamous for my past shenanigans.
So, first couple of questions I wanted to ask: what made you wanted to start out to be a professional wrestler?
For me personally, what it was at the age of 12, which was a very pivotal time in my life, because within like a month span, I started watching WWE and started doing amateur wrestling focus stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I did all the way through high school and in middle school, watching WWE, doing amateur wrestling, loved it to death. But then like became an adult, and I was like I always debated about doing it. I was like, I don't know, maybe not. I'm like, I'm worried about getting hurt, which because this is not ballet, people.
It's not.
So I go to an independent show near my hometown, and got to feel the ring once. I felt the cushioning, which if you don't know what's underneath that ring, there's a mat. It's like be like a gymnast mat or like wrestling mat. Mm-hmm. I mean, like it's cushioned, but not that much. I'm like, I could do this. I definitely could do this. So I was like, debate about it. And I ended up talking to the guy that would eventually become my trainer because I knew he lived like right around the corner from me. I was like, hey, where'd you train? Because I'm looking to train. He's like, well, he told me, well, I train with such and such, but I train my own students now right at my house. I'm like, cool. Can you train me? He's like, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Train me. That was my now tag partner, Sicken.
Right.
Member of Riot City's Most Wanted, baby.
My trainer too as well.
Yes. Yeah. So we go. He trains me, and I mean that's pretty much how I got into it.
Okay.
I always wanted to do it.
So did you have any wrestlers that you idolized once you wanted to start doing this professional wrestling thing? Is there anybody?
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle.
Because remember, like I said before,
The amateur wrestling.
The amateur wrestling, like I like a month, I like my passion. I'm like, Kurt was my fucking idol, dude. I love me Kurt Angle. It took me a long time to realize that he was my idol, but I was like, no, he's my idol because I like John Cena. I liked The Undertaker. I mean, when I say like John Cena, I liked him during the thugonomics era, John Cena. Yeah. I don't think I could make that clear, okay?
So when he started like heel, when he started doing
when he was in heel, I mean,
a lot of people like to say John Cena never had a heel gimmick, and I was like, you guys are totally wrong. But
early John Cena was savage. Like, thugonomics John Cena. Talk about a savage mother.
Yeah.
But no, like as I got older, I realized I was talking more and more about Kurt Angle and how much I loved Kurt Angle. I was like, wait, apparently he's my idol. Like one of my biggest market moments in the business, while being in the business, was being able to meet Kurt Angle. Like it was really hard for me to keep my composure.
Right. All right. Do you have any favorite wrestling matches, whether it be WWE, could be independent scene, whatever? I know you got some favorite matches.
Oh, I know. I have a favorite match.
Okay.
And it's a very interesting one. Vengeance 2003. Vince McMahon versus Zach Gowen. Now I can go into why. I'll go right into this because I'm like, there's been fail matches out there. You can go through like your Okada, Omegas. You can do your freaking Takers, Michaels. You can do Bret Hart, Michaels. You can do any WrestleMania match with Shawn Michaels in it, but and say it's greatest of all time shit like that. But the reason why I love Gowen versus McMahon at Vengeance 2003, again, it's one of the favorites for some others. But the reason why I'm into this match so much is it's like one of the, if not the best storytelling match I've ever seen. Like let's pretend you're a it's no right wrestling. The first thing you've ever seen is the promo right before the package right before the match and the match. That's the only thing you've seen.
Right.
For y'all who don't know, Zach Gowen is a one-legged wrestler who weighs about $150.
Yeah.
He was a small guy, and if you don't know who Vince McMahon is, which if you're watching this for some reason you don't know who Vince McMahon is, I'm ashamed of you. Okay? But we all know what Vince is. Vince is a big boy, big strong boy. Little Zach Allen's small as anything, one-legged, and this is top-tail heel Vince. This is Vince at his most evil.
Right.
It's either this or when he choked out his own daughter, which happened a couple months later. I mean, like, 2003 Vince McMahon is the top heel, man. Everyone talks about, 1998, 99 Vince was such a heel. No, he wasn't shit in 98, 99. I mean, like, he was just starting. He was just dipping his toe into these. So, 2003. But anyways, so they go through this match and they build it. There's not that much to it. Vince does his usual stuff, but, like, Vince is just taunting him. And, like, if you're not a, if you're not a big wrestling fan, or you just watch the story, don't know anyone, you're immediately gonna be like, fuck Vince McMahon. Come on, one-legged guy. Come on. You can do it.
Right.
Such a great match. Such a great match. And I think more people, like, if anyone gets into this, like, wants to get into this, watch that match because it's such a great storytelling. Because, I mean, it's just little things. They don't do much. I mean, Zach flies a bit, because that was Zach Allen's thing, is he could do a lot of springboards. Yeah. But, like, just the storytelling, it's the little things, it was great.
Right. Okay. We're going to wrap this up in a bit, ask you a couple more questions, and then we're done. So, in the professional wrestling industry, that we all so deeply and very much love, do you think, in your own opinion, is there anything lacking, or what do you think that is lacking in professional wrestling today that is compared to, like, older generations with, like, the golden era of wrestling, or maybe attitude era? What's wrong? Do you think
storytelling?
Okay,
tell me a story. I mean, you can do a million. I don't care if you can do a million flips. Right. You can do all the flips in the world. But I'm like, if you're not telling a good story, most crowds ain't gonna give a fuck. Exactly. I mean, like, people, like, not everyone are indie marks. I mean, a lot of these people just saw a flyer out in their hometown, and they're like, oh, I like wrestling. And so, like, a lot of them aren't going to know who you are. Right. So you need to make sure you can make them give a fuck. Right. Make them care. Right. Make the people care. Make the people care. Tell them a good story. Give them a reason to chill. Give them a reason to boo. Do not forget the fans. We're not on television out here. Like most of the time, we're not on television, on a weekly television show where they know who you are every week. And, like, brand new eyes all the time. Tell them a story.
You're preaching. I'll get that. Last question, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. Is there any advice that you can give, or words of wisdom that you can give anyone that wants to start out to become a professional wrestler? Because there may be someone on my channel or whoever's watching that maybe want to start getting into it. So, you got any advice or anything that you can give them?
I'm trying to think. I want you to just think about this. No. What show here? What about you? Are you from the DMV or are you from the? You're from DMV. You're from Baltimore. Yeah, so you're from Baltimore. We're both guys from Baltimore. We are here in Wheeling, West Virginia. Behind this building, about maybe 200 feet, I mean, an easy walk, is the Ohio River. It took us 5 hours to get here today. And after we wrestled tonight, all sore and everything, we got to drive 5 hours back. Okay? I mean, it's the drives, it takes a lot of your time. If you want to actually do this, a lot of time, a lot of sacrifices. Like, I don't have a weekend anymore. My weekend's wrestling. If I'm not wrestling, I'm training. Right. I mean, like, it's a lot of times, like, for me, this is not what I want to be my hobby. This is a side gig for me. This is what I don't want to say pays my bills, but I make my money doing this on the side. So, I mean, like, you bust your ass. I mean,
so dedicate yourself.
Dedicate yourself. I mean, get your ass out there. Work. Get your eyes on people.
Right. All right. So, I love all of those answers that you just gave me. And if you can give these people your social medias if they want to follow you, you know.
You can find me on Facebook at Ron Holiday. You can find me on Instagram at RandyLawsonPro. And I do actually something similar to this. I'm starting up my thing up. It's Kayfabe Junkies. Okay. Also, I mean, like, which I'm pretty much doing this similar thing. Yeah, like, I'm gonna be doing interviews, but I'm also doing match photos, match videos, promos, work, a whole bunch of stuff just gonna be coming. I'm gonna do podcasts and all this happy crap.
Right. All right. So that'll pretty much wrap it up. I love all of those answers, like you said.
Alex, add one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Watch out for this man. Would you look at this face? Look at this face. You're gonna see his face on television one day, okay? So look at it.
Right.
Cool?
All right. Cool. Thank you for the interview, man.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you. Ron Holiday, everybody.
Ron Holiday, baby!
Boom. There you go. All right, so I got a couple of guys here that I've known for a very much long time. We have here individually
Craig Phillips, Samuel Masters,
Tyler Moore.
and you are the tag team of
Black Privilege.
All right, so Black Privilege. I got a couple of questions that I want to ask you guys. And first, I'm going to start out. If you guys want to answer together, or if one of you just want to answer the question by yourself, and then we'll move on. What made you guys want to become a professional wrestler or a tag team?
So, it was a couple of years ago when I was doing wrestling. Ran into a guy named Art. I don't give a fuck. They know. Everybody did wrestling. Let's stop pretending.
You signed up for this?
Just go ahead.
You signed up.
It's already ruined now.
You signed up. You signed up for it.
Just go ahead.
A pro wrestler asked me why am I wasting my talent. I said I like to have fun, and his exact words to me was, "Why are you letting pretenders go for something that you're actually good at?" So I sat there, pondered, and stopped, and said, "Screw it, I'll be a pro wrestler and see how it goes." The tag team thing came up because all the tag teams were dying, and he was available.
I don't know how I ended up here. I just
Yeah,
here.
that's literally how it happened.
So, next question. If you guys have any favorite wrestlers that
Me.
that you have, you can name them as well, or anybody that you idolize that you want to start doing this. You know.
I would have to say Ravisher Rick Rude,
Okay.
Ultimate Warrior, and Val Venus. They were all technical and they all had the look.
I was going to say, I felt as though like two of them were just because of the feeling that they were just sexy and egotistical, which you are sometimes, and, and you're very technical. And Ultimate Warrior is just basically because of the strength of that guy.
It was actually his charisma. He had
Really?
that. He had that energy.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it was coke, but he still had that energy.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, pretty much, I don't know, like, I just be watching TNA.
That's true. You're more the
But I like old school TNA, like with AJ Styles and Scott
So like
Steiner,
02,
Booker
03.
T.
when it was the
Oh,
NWA,
so
Back
when
when
it
they
was
had
when it was the
Main
NW
Event
when
Mafia.
the X Division title was the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Okay.
God,
Yeah, that was a good era. I love that.
Back when AJ was still doing the spiral tap.
When Petey Williams was important.
Yeah. Oh.
When, what's his name, was Eric Young was still young.
And he was with Team Canada?
Before that,
Oh, when he debuted.
yeah.
Okay.
Eric
I
Young
think that was
debuted.
after that.
When he had no
Was
muscle.
Yeah, because he was with Team Canada first, and then he went on his own.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right.
So
You
yeah, that
got
wouldn't
it
have been before.
Damn, you know you're wrestling.
Yeah, I'm here. Come on now. This is
I
a
be
wrestling.
watching. I don't watch much wrestling. I just be watching the indies.
Oh no, be honest, man. That's fine.
I be
Yeah.
watching like Danny B. I be
haven't-
watching like Florida and like Tennessee people.
No death matches.
Man, none of that.
None of that.
I just seen some death matches. If you touch me with glass, I'm shooting you.
All right, cool. So let's see. Is there anything, in your opinion, the both of you, or let's say one of you want to answer, what do you guys think is lacking in professional wrestling today?
Women.
Because there are some people like to compare that it's not what it used to be. Like it's not like the golden era of WWE, or it's not like Attitude Era, or it's just there's lack of characters, lack of gimmicks, lack of charisma. What is it? What do you like?
It's politics.
Politics.
Politics in wrestling
Missing or shouldn't be there?
shouldn't. It's not. No, politics are missing in a good way. There's no positive politic growth.
Okay.
There's no encouragement because a lot of older people will say anybody can be a pro wrestler now,
Right.
which is true. Anybody can sign up to do it,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't really do it if you don't have someone like a promoter's backing. Like, oh, I'm a professional wrestler. Where have you wrestled?
Right.
So it's like nobody gives you a chance because a lot of the older people don't want you to take the spotlight.
Right.
And that growth has, to me, what's been lacking. Far in between, I've seen some pro wrestlers come to you, pull to the side, I need you to do this, you'll get promoted, here's my reference.
Okay.
I don't see that enough at all. At all. And it's always been weird to me. But that's life, that's politics, that's wrestling.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I just have some points.
No, it's fine, man.
I just
Do
don't
you.
see any. Like in our time, think about it, what women wrestlers or intergender wrestlers, like tag teams, have we come across?
None.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's none.
None.
If there was a woman team out there, we definitely would go against.
I think there's a couple of them. They just
It's so rare,
It's
though.
rare.
Yeah, it is known because we really don't have like women's division of tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
I
that
mean, they
needs to be a
started
thing.
in NXT now, but it's like usually we never see much of them unless they're on the indie scenes.
The
But
only
I don't
thing-
know.
The only
Maybe
like
you guys
shit I've
know.
seen is like the stands and their gender thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's kind of the only like
that's the only thing I've ever
like
seen.
nobody likes to mix boys and girls.
Because they say it's unfair because you can't win because you hit a woman. Oh, you hit a woman. You put her over, makes her look strong, makes you look weak. But if you hit her, you look weak. It's so weird.
Yeah, I can understand.
How about League of Russians?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to have a couple more questions or maybe something I would like to add on. We're pretty much going to wrap this up. So outside of wrestling, what do you guys like as far as like, because I know we
Video
go to
games.
conventions, video games, stuff like that. Anything else you do?
Yeah, I am in 4 bowling leagues,
Okay.
2 pro bowling league tours. I go to the gym a lot. Most of my wrestling gear, I draw myself and try to make it. And when I fail, 9 times out of 10, I send it off to have people do it. I like to knit
Okay.
because I had a grandmother, and it's a nice trait to have if you rip your favorite shirt.
Yeah.
Buy another.
No, just
Why
fix
wouldn't you
it.
just repair it?
I can
I got
fix
money.
it. She bought it for me. Yeah,
My hobby is it.
yeah. Your hobbies are way different.
Okay.
It's
so
because
what-
I do whatever I want.
So what do
Technically,
you-
right now, doing a podcast.
Didn't invite me.
Didn't invite you at all. I stream.
Didn't
I'm in the
invite me.
process of making a song. In the process of editing a video. I do video editing. I do YouTube, Twitch.
Don't invite me.
Talk to them.
Oh, I'm
too,
sorry.
camera.
Oh, matter of fact, this is a great time for a shameless plug. If you like Twitch, if you like streaming, I stream Monday to Wednesday from 1 to 10 p.m. normally, sometimes, stream stuff.
Okay.
I'm going to just put it right here. This is DatBoiTipsy. That Boy Tipsy. You can follow me on Twitch. I'll
Yeah.
see you there.
The link's going to be in the description anyway.
I can't
so.
not believe you just advertised himself.
No, that's fine. Do it because I'm trying to put my dues on. But let's see.
I stream Apex. I do those tournaments and the Fortnite tournaments.
I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn right now.
That's not a good game.
It's a good game. What are you talking about?
It's not a good game.
You don't like it?
No.
Okay.
Hate the mechanics.
We'll talk about that later. Anyway. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. If you guys have any advice to anyone that wants to become a professional wrestler in the present or in the future, what would you give?
Network, show up early, learn to set up a ring. It helps you
Severely.
a great deal. You've been trying to get on the show, and you set that ring up, they will look at you and go, feel like doing a better role? That kind of gets you in the door, too. It's how I got started. I did
Also,
how we all got started.
stop trying to step over people. Don't try to step over. Just pick them up.
Yeah,
If you see somebody falling, pick them up. Don't leave them down there.
because you were down there once, too, and that's just, it's not fun.
Also, you don't know. You might pick up somebody and he might be the next WWE star.
He might take you along.
Never know.
All right. So that's that. These are Samuel Masters,
Tyler Moore.
Black Privilege, and to everybody your social media followings, and then we're pretty much gonna wrap this up.
Socials.
Oh, Women721.
So what? Twitter.
That's Instagram, because that's all I have.
You can do me at Twitter at DatBoiMoore. You can do me on Facebook at DatBoiMoore. I think it's DatBoiMoore. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all DatBoiMoore.
Or if you want to make it easier, just go to the wrestling page, Black Privilege.
On Facebook.com.
Everything for us is there.
Actually, no, because you made it. It is not Black Privilege. It is Facebook.com/@premium9000.
Hey!
His idea 100%.
Because that's what we is.
All right.
My credit score over 700.
Which one of y'all blew in? Because I smell something.
I did.
It was not me yet.
Yes,
I'm waiting for
This
it.
is the second time. But anywho,
I
that's
am
Black
waiting.
Privilege. I want to thank y'all for doing this interview with me. Long time friends.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all. That's that.
It'll be with me.
We now have the tag team of
Pure ignorance,
Pure Ignorance.
not pure violence. I'm the Don Chaz Evans. I'm the Prince Mackaveli.
All right, and these are also some guys that I've known very long time. How long have we known each other now?
Right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Greg already mentioned earlier, so he pretty much ruined that.
We ready? All right, so yeah.
But you don't have to go pretty much into detail. We just known each other some years.
Yeah.
2016.
Probably. So yeah, we've known each other a while. But all right, I got a couple of questions that you guys can answer. So if you guys want to answer, just one of you want to answer, if both of you, it's whatever.
All right, but
So, what made you guys want to start out professional wrestling?
I'll start with this one. Man, I was in art class one day with my friends. Seeing my friend, he had like this little backyard thing. We ain't gonna get into that.
That's fine.
But you know, he had a little thing going on. I was like, "Dang, that looked fun. Let me try it out." And ever since then, I just fell in love.
Okay.
it's the same way. That mutual friend hooked us in, and yeah, I just fell in love with it.
Talking about Justin, right?
Yeah, we're talking about
you can just mention Justin.
Oh, we mentioned Justin?
Yeah.
That dumbass?
I'm quite sure we'll have Justin on here soon.
Yeah,
or
that
later,
Darth
but,
motherfucker.
Yeah. But yeah.
Evil Sith Lord
all right.
right there. Him.
All right. So, are there any wrestlers that you idolized that made you want to start out professional wrestling?
Well, I can easily Sean. Sean was one of my first wrestling wrestler I ever saw was Sean, and he just captivated me. Like I remember WrestleMania 23, Sean and John Cena, and I was a kid at the time. So the Cena thing was I was a part of the Cena training. I was a 10-year-old kid who liked Cena.
Okay.
And I really couldn't choose who could win because I like Sean so much. He's my favorite, but I'm like, it's John Cena. So yeah, Sean, and then as I got older, AJ Styles.
Okay.
Mine's is always gonna be the same, no matter how old I am, because I just like who he is. He is who he is. New Jack.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Ever since, honestly, I used to have other favorite wrestlers, but ever since that documentary, where he was just telling his life and how he just didn't give a fuck, it's either his way or the highway.
Right.
I just love that mentality that I'm a boss. I'm gonna do what I want, and you can't really stop.
Right.
You like the fact that he threw him off the scaffold
That
and said
too.
you're not gonna need your legs.
Yeah.
You're an asshole. You would
cool.
do that.
All right. Since you guys are a tag team, I'm gonna ask you those questions. Are there anyone as far as in the independent scene or mainstream wrestling that you guys would both like to wrestle individually or as a tag team?
Goons.
Goons?
Yeah. The Goons, Raising Curls.
Okay. Girls.
Raising Curls.
Definitely. Hey, if y'all ever watch this,
They duffing us. I mean,
you brought it from the
they
smoke.
ducking the duff.
You might get what you want, so you don't know. They might see this too, so I'm just saying, All right, so anybody else, or that's it?
Studio 22.
Studio 22.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's Jeremy Grimes and friends of ours too as well. So is there anything that you guys believe that's lacking in professional wrestling? So we have conversations about wrestling is just not the same, right? People tend to like the golden era of wrestling in WWE, or they like the Attitude Era, or we may just like the Ruthless Aggression Era. So people might like what ROH is doing, or New Japan is doing. What in the current state of wrestling right now do you think is lacking in today's wrestling era?
Character.
Yeah.
Character.
Go with character and just story.
Okay.
Everything's all flash moves.
Right.
Back
Spot
in the
monkeys and
yeah,
stuff like that.
back in the day, you told stories in the ring.
Right.
And I think that's what we as wrestlers are, with storytellers.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of stories missing, and it's more just, all right, cool, moves, flip, this, instead of just, building emotion.
Right. Okay. So one more question and then we're gonna wrap this up. If you guys individually can give people some advice if they want to start out professional wrestling as of right now, if they're watching or in the future, what do you guys have?
So I do a podcast, and every person that comes on says this, and
Plug your podcast.
oh
if
yeah,
you
the
want
Free
to,
Count
shit.
podcast. We're on everything.
I've been on there, so
You have been you've been on there. Just check it out, YouTube and everything that's podcast.
Okay.
But everyone says it like keep your ears open and your mouth shut. Like you may think you know what you may think you know it, but you really don't.
Yeah.
And you're always learning. And once you stop learning, it's time to go.
Right.
For me, it's never give up. Like for me, I was gonna give up. What was it? Like a year ago. I was just unhappy with what I was doing. Don't give up. You'll find your way. Just give it time. Give it time, and you'll find it.
Okay. Now I just want you guys to tell everybody your social media following so they can follow you.
Follow me on Instagram at X_Prince Mackaveli _X.
Okay.
And I'm everything, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I have a TikTok. Chaz _ the Don. You can follow me there.
And check out one of them newer shirts. You know, this is not the good version.
the actual shirt.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
There
There
you
you go.
Season. You
It's
already
stuffing
know.
season, you know. Go get you one.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Oh, no
being on
problem,
this
man. You
interview.
fam. You fam.
Yeah, I've been family for like the longest time. Pure ignorance, everybody. Thank you very much. Love you guys. All right, so we got another guy that I've been friends with quite a long time here as well. I'm mainly going against him tonight. Sorry if I'm ruining kayfabe or anything for anybody, but you know, this is just behind the scenes and stuff like that. So you are, sir?
In ring, I'm Randy Lawson. Outside, I'm Randy Lawson.
Okay. So how long have you been in the professional wrestling?
My debut match was in August of 2017. So I've been wrestling professionally for about 3 years now, going on 4 this summer. And I trained for almost a year before that, before I had my debut.
Okay, cool. Do you have any favorite matches? Oh, matter of fact, what really strived you to become a professional wrestler?
A couple things with that, like, I mean, just being a fan as a kid, it was kind of one of those things where mom took the TV out of the room. She caught me watching wrestling and stuff, so you know, and that kind of drove me to watch it more, actually.
Okay.
Like, I grew up, I mean, I'm 27, showing my age. Like, I grew up, you know, in the 90s and like early 2000s, kind of like in a pretty prime time of wrestling. So I would say, like, if there was a certain match or anything that really kind of hooked me, it's hard to mention this one because you know, like, just everything surrounding it. But I mean, I have to be honest. When I was younger, one of the matches that really got me back into wrestling, kind of after I was, you know, kind of gotten out of it, was SummerSlam with Randy Orton and Chris Benoit.
Okay.
Just the match itself, you know, just drew me back in.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, I really like this Randy Orton. He's pretty good. Of course, I like Chris Benoit back then. Of course, redacted. But
it's all right. Anyway. But no, it's fine. It's not like we're WWE where we're just trying to just get rid of him, because we all know that Chris Benoit is one of the greatest to do it, and unfortunately for what happened back then, it's very sad. But we all know the story,
Yeah.
so it's no reason to like try to shame him.
yeah, no.
But on that subject, is there any favorite wrestlers that you have that you idolize that really made you wanted to do this professional wrestling? Do you have any favorite
I can give you the top
or
5.
favorite matches as well? Go ahead.
Just to kind of split it up, because I can't really say I have a favorite. And then it's like, it's hard to say because there's some that are like absolutely at the top, like The Undertaker and Triple H, and you know, it's like they're there, but like they almost don't count. Like the people that I really, because I mean, they're just so good and they're so you know, above and beyond.
Right.
But like, as far as people that, like, I guess were easier to relate to, like I would say like RVD, Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Booker T, and then to round out the top 5, I'd probably say it's hard to say. I'd have to say Matt Hardy. Like,
Okay.
when I was growing up.
Okay. All right. So ask a couple more questions and we're going to wrap this up.
Okay.
So the question I have to ask you, is there anything in professional wrestling, right? Huh?
I was staying in my shirt.
Oh,
I just
it's
saw.
fine, man.
I had a cheesesteak earlier. It was really good.
Hey, man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you off.
it's fine.
I just
So-
saw it on the screen.
Is there anything in professional wrestling as of today that you think there's lacking or what's wrong with the business? Because we know a lot of, and I've asked this question to other people that I've interviewed today as well. So we all know that a lot of people who are pretty much the older generation, they love the golden era, the golden age of professional wrestling, or they like the attitude era or anything else like that. Because some people complain about today's professional wrestling.
Right.
And do you think, in your opinion, or maybe it's nothing is actually absolutely wrong, what is lacking in professional wrestling, or what's wrong with professional wrestling today that it's not like what it used to be?
That's kind of loaded, and I have a couple thoughts on that. One is that there's definitely things lacking. I would say that, like, from being in wrestling, it's easier to see like a lack of inclusion in certain places, and that goes across the board. Whether that's you know, whether it's just someone just doesn't get booked because they're not from that town, or there's other factors at play. That, like, inclusion is a big deal. Like, I mean, I'm not shooting on anybody, but we're on a show tonight. There's no women's matches. You know, I'm not trying to.
No, it's all right.
Start
It's
a pottery
much
thing,
needed.
but that's across the board. There are a lot of companies that have, you know.
Because I don't believe that a lot of women get as much recognition as men in professional wrestling
Absolutely
today.
not. And that's not.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
because I was just talking to Black Privilege earlier, and we were talking about the lack of women's wrestling as far as like tag team division and stuff like that. and it's just unfair that they're not just as noticed in the indie scenes as well as men. But now, since we've seen WWE, especially seeing, Bianca Belair being WWE champion now, which is a great American, amazing thing, as well as black women being the champion as well too.
Yeah.
So I think it's very prevalent that they get their time to shine, and it's sad that they really don't.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I agree with that 100%, and it's something that needs to be like fully committed to. It's like I feel like there's a lot of times where it's like, hey, we're showcasing it, and then they, and companies will just move on. And again, it's not right. I mean, I know plenty of, personally, just women's wrestlers that I know. Like, I'll put someone over right now that absolutely deserves everything that they're getting right now is Jordan Blade. I went to high school with her, and she's awesome.
Yeah.
And any chance I get to say something not good about her, I will, because
I will also
she hustles harder than anyone. From my area, I would say like she's up at the top as far as dedication, working hard, and going out there and getting stuff done. She's doing better than me by a long shot, and I'm not.
There's a lot of women that do better than men.
And she's, like I said, she's wonderful. She's a great wrestler.
Sign her immediately.
Absolutely,
please, anybody.
She is extremely deserving, and it's paying off. She's getting a lot of good stuff happening to her right now, so that's good to see too.
Right.
So,
Okay, so I'm gonna ask one more question, and then we're pretty much gonna wrap this up. More so, if there are words of wisdom or advice that you would want to give anyone that wants to become a professional wrestler today, male or female, what would you tell them?
I would say that definitely it takes thick skin, and that's physically and mentally. We're in I kind of call it like a little twilight era of wrestling right now, where it's kind of the old regime is still running things, and there's nothing wrong with that. Professional wrestling is great, and that's the reason we got into professional wrestling.
Right.
But I think there's a kind of a transition here that you have to have an open mind. You have to think critically about things. Like you can't. I feel like there's a lot of when I got in, I was kind of I'm only 4 years in, but there's a lot of kind of just go with the flow kind of stuff, and which I'm guilty of. I go with the flow. Not anything detrimental, but it's easy to get caught especially when you first get in. You don't know any better, and you kind of just ride the wave. I know I did for the first year or two, where I was just excited that I was wrestling, and you can't get complacent. That's the biggest thing I say. Okay. I think everyone goes through a stage of that once they get trained and start working, is they get comfortable, and they just kind of accept where they are. And if you really want to do that, that's fine. Everyone has different goals in wrestling, but if you're really wanting to get into wrestling and then your foot is in the door, you're getting in, you're getting trained, figure out how far you want to go before you just kind of get in, and there's plenty of time to figure things out, but when you get in, you kind of got to know how you can find out pretty quickly how seriously you want to take it.
All right, so that's it. I want to thank you very much for being on here, man.
Absolutely, man.
You.
Appreciate being on.
I want to let you, if you could just plug in your social medias. I have 15% battery life on here.
Right, I'll make it quick. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so tell everybody your social media followings and
All right, cool. Well, right now, the easiest thing to find me on social media is on Instagram. My wrestling page is RandyLawsonPro, but I post stuff on my personal page too. It's Boogity Brandon. I also have a Twitter that's RandyLawsonPro as well. I'm just not active on the Twitter scene right now. I'm still kind of. I used to be very active on Twitter, and I just don't. I'm old. I'm getting old. I got to figure it back out again.
I'm barely on Twitter, man. So I understand your pain. Yeah, man. All right, thank you very much. We're gonna match later on tonight, so
we'll
we're
see how
gonna
that goes.
Thing.
Absolutely.
Everybody, Randy Lawson,
Hey, Robinson.
and we're out.